If you're a female runner over 45 and you keep dealing with aches, pains, or injuries that just won't go away, there's a good chance one of these 5 habits is to blame. I see it all the time with the women I coach. They're dedicated, they're showing up, but they're unknowingly making small mistakes that lead to frustrating setbacks. But here's the good news. These habits are fixable. And once you adjust them, you'll recover faster, you'll stay consistent, and you'll feel better on every run. So let's break them down, starting with the one that most runners think is helping them, but it's actually holding them back. On my very first multi-day hike, I packed everything over and above the essentials because I thought that it would help me on my hike. In actual fact, my pack was so heavy, it just slowed me down. And so the same thing goes for your running. If you think that running more is going to help you, it's actually just going to slow you down. Your body doesn't actually get stronger during a run. It gets stronger when you recover after that run. When you never take a rest day, you're piling stress onto stress, and that's when injuries happen. If you feel like every run is a grind, your legs always feel heavy, or little aches keep popping up, you might be overloading your body. How do we fix this? We schedule at least 1 full day of rest a week. And yes, walking or yoga is great, but your body does also need some real downtime. If you want to keep running pain-free, running on its own isn't enough. And that is why mistake number 2 is leaving strength training out. For years, I saw so many female runners avoid strength training because they thought it would make them bulky, take too much time, or that it just wasn't necessary. But here's the thing. As we get older, we naturally start losing muscle mass. And if we don't actively work to maintain that, our bodies become more prone to injuries. I had a client, let's call her Carmen. She was running 4 times a week and doing maybe 1 strength session very inconsistently. We changed it up. We took 1 run away to ensure that she was getting 2 strength sessions in a week minimum, sometimes 3. We improved her 5K time from 29 minutes down to 26 minutes with that change alone. How do we fix it? Just like Carmen, just 2 short sessions a week can make a massive difference. Don't necessarily need a gym. Body weight exercises like squats, step-ups, single leg squats, and some basic core movements are a great place to start. As a side note, I'm hosting a free masterclass for female runners over 45, and I think you will love it. I'll be sharing how to recover better, how to run faster, and how to stay injury-free so that you can keep running strong for years to come. Scan the QR code or click the link below to save your seat. Moving on to the next one. The worst thing you can do when something hurts is ignore it and hope it goes away. Pushing through pain instead of addressing it is really not a great idea. Pain isn't just a part of running, it's a signal. And if you ignore it, it doesn't just disappear, it gets worse. I have a client, let's call her Claire. She had a little bit of pain in the bottom of her foot. Eventually we figured out after a scan that it was a bit of a bone bruise. Claire didn't listen. She kept pushing through that pain and running, and eventually what would have been 4 to 6 weeks out with a bone bruise turned into a stress fracture, and she couldn't run for 6 months. So pain is like the check engine light in your car. Covering it with a sticker won't fix the problem. It just guarantees a breakdown later. And a red flag is if you're continually, regularly icing something, taking painkillers, or just getting through your runs, you're not fixing the real issue. So, if something hurts consistently, stop and investigate. Is it happening after a certain type of workout? Is it worse in certain shoes? Does it hurt at night? Address the root cause now instead of sitting out for months later. Mistake number 4 reminds me of one of my clients named Jessica. Jessica had taken some time off after having her baby and then started running again, but really just jumped back into what she was doing well before she had her baby. She had a couple of niggling pains, but those niggling pains turned into injuries, and those injuries turned into stopping running. And that's why mistake number 4 is ramping up your mileage or intensity too quickly will get you injured. So if you're feeling good on your runs, that's great, but that doesn't mean that you should double your mileage overnight. I see this mistake all the time. A runner starts feeling strong, so they jump from 20 kilometers a week to 40 kilometers in a month. And at first it works, until the shin pain, the knee aches, or the full-blown injury sets in. Think of your body like a rubber band. If you stretch it slowly, it becomes more elastic, but if you pull it too hard, too fast, it'll snap. And so the red flag here is that if your body is constantly sore, your runs are feeling harder than they should, or you're dealing with repeated injuries, you might be doing too much too soon. How do we fix this? We generally follow what we call the 10% rule, especially as a beginner. Never increase your weekly mileage by more than 10% at a time. And always listen to your body. Just because you can push harder doesn't mean that you should. Another good indication is that you don't want your long run to be more than 30% of your overall weekly volume. On to the next one. If you're always feeling drained after runs or feeling wiped out later in the day, ignoring recovery nutrition could be the problem. I used to think, I'll eat when I'm hungry, but by the time later came, I was completely exhausted and my recovery suffered because of it. And that reminds me of Tandi, a client of mine. She started running later in life. She was 48 years old when she started, and she also actually wanted to lose a little bit of weight. And so she restricted her diet. And one of the big things was that she didn't have her post-run nutrition. Her performance never got better, and she was constantly sick. So when we analyzed it and we started adding in that post-run nutrition, her performance suddenly just started getting better. She was ill on less days, and that low energy availability was sorted. And so after a run, your muscles are primed to absorb nutrients. But if you don't refuel within that 30 to 40 minute window, your body doesn't get what it needs to recover properly. If you're feeling wiped out for hours after a run, like your energy crashes in the afternoon, or like you're taking longer to recover than you should, you might not be refueling properly. Let's fix this. You don't need anything complicated. A banana with some peanut butter, a protein smoothie, or even a chocolate milk can help kickstart recovery so that you feel energized instead of drained. And here's the good news. All of these habits are fixable. And once you start making small changes, you'll notice the difference fast. Less pain, more energy, and feeling like you can actually enjoy your runs again. But here's something most female runners overlook. Even if you train smart and recover well, your body's needs change as you get older, especially when it comes to nutrition. And if you're missing any key nutrients, your performance, your recovery, and your energy levels will take a hit. That's why in the next video, I break down the 9 key supplements every female runner over 45 should be taking. Click here to watch now. This could be the missing piece in your training.